Welcome to The Journey. The Journey is a progressive web app designed to help members of local churches connect with each other even when they aren't physically in the same service. It comes with a number of other features, but in this video we're just going to look at how we install the app, and then you can get going from there. So what you're going to need to do is, on your browser, on a phone or tablet or PC, open your browser and go to journey.church.net.za. And when you do, this is the page that will come up. At the moment the icons are all in red because we're approaching Holy Week, and the app is linked to the liturgical colors, the colors of a church calendar. But most of the year round it'll all be in green because that's ordinary season. First thing that you need to decide is whether you're happy to put your phone number into the app. The reason you would do this is if you are connecting with a local church in some way, or you're wanting to see blog content or sermon content or daily devotionals. All of those things require a phone number to be entered, and that number simply goes into the back-end database and is used to link you to an individual in the database, which means that we can check whether you are in fact a member of a particular church, and that's the purpose. The data is kept securely, but if you don't want to enter your phone number, this is the limit of what you can have a look at the moment. You can still go and look at the lectionary readings for Sunday, so you can just use the app for that purpose, and you can go and open up and read the New Testament reading to the Philippians, and there's the passage, and that's still available to you without entering your phone number. But let's go ahead and enter a phone number now, and I'm just going to use a test number for the purposes of this demonstration. You would enter your own cell phone number there. You're going to tell the system that you're not a robot. Luckily I've been spared having to go any further, but quite often you will be asked to identify from a box of pictures here. You'll be asked to find all the bridges or all the pictures with pedestrian crossings or something like that, to prove that you're not a robot. But as it stands, once this little green tick appears, I can go forward. Then Google is going to send a PIN number to my cell phone, and so you would wait for that PIN number to arrive, a 6-digit number, and because this is a test number, I'm just using that PIN. And now the system knows that I am indeed the holder of the phone, with that phone number, so there's some security of identity. The next thing that we have to do is to say which church do I belong to. And at the moment we're only set up for Methodist churches in South Africa, in Southern Africa. We do have the capacity to add other denominations or other church structures at a later stage. It's set up for that, but I've still got to do some work on the code. But in the meantime, it's mostly being used in Methodist churches. And so we're going to find my home church, which is Umhlali, and that is in the Lower Tigela Circuit in the Natal Coastal Synod. So we click on that and say OK. Now you'll see that the system has linked me to the Umhlali Society, but it still doesn't know who I am. All it has at the moment is a verified phone number. If you were already in the database, if your details were already in the Umhlali Methodist database, then it would have identified you from your cell phone number and greeted you by name. But as it is, this person does not yet exist on the database, so the last step is to actually add my details. For many of you who are already linked to a local church, this will be unnecessary, but this is a completely brand new person, and so you can add some basic details to the system to make you a little bit less anonymous. So let's say that our new member's name is John Wesley. That's a good Methodist choice, and it's a man, and we say OK. Now you'll see that a household has been created. A household describes the whole family, and then one individual here. So let's add another member to the household, another individual, by clicking on that plus icon there, and let's add I don't know what Wesley's wife's name was, but let's call her Mary, and we're not going to put too much detail in now. We'll give her a title, and she's a member. That should do for now. So now we have John and Mary, and the details are there. Now we can edit the household as well if we go in there, and let's say we're going to say John and Mary Wesley, and they live at 10 Downing Street, London. You could enter a home phone number. Depending on how many of your family members have given cell phone numbers, you could then choose one family member who would be the person who always receives an SMS if the church sends out an SMS using the back-end system. At the moment, John is the only family member with a cell phone, so we'll just leave it like that. That's taken us back to the home page. This little icon at the bottom right hand here always allows you to access your personal details. So the user settings, if we go back there, you can see the household is now John and Mary Wesley. There is their physical address. We haven't put a home phone number in, but it would be there if you did. We can go and edit John's details a little. Let's give him a title as well. I think he's Reverend. He's a member. You could add a profile image too, and that's a helpful thing to do for the church staff. Looking at the details, they can then see a face to put to the name. Also, there's a feature inside the Journey app where your local society, all the faces, all the profile images that have been uploaded will appear in a kind of a church directory, so you can get to know names and faces. So we could put a phone number in, a photo in there if need be, and it'll then look on your PC for an image. So that's enough changes to Wesley's profile. There we go. It's put in his email address, and we have all those details there. Let's go back to the home page. You can always get back to the home page by pressing on the home icon there, or by clicking on the label up at the top there. And let's just shoot through the features that we have in the app at the moment. So the first one we've looked at briefly. Those are the Sunday readings. You can go and look at the specific readings for Sunday. You'll see this is Palm Sunday coming up, and here we have a number of alternative readings which the lectionary specifies. This is from the Revised Common Lectionary, and you'll see all three of them come up here. So depending on which one you're using, they're all available. We go back. The other thing you can do is, this is for the 6th Sunday or Palm Sunday in Lent in year A. You can go and see the full lectionary for that year. So particularly if you're a preacher, you could go and look ahead to a service when you are preaching and see the readings for that Sunday. So here we are on the 6th Sunday. There's Easter Sunday the following week, and this is all for year A, the current lectionary year, and it goes all the way down to the end of ordinary time, and then we start year B, Advent 1 in the following year. One more thing to show you quickly is in say a week like Easter Sunday, there will be some midweek services that happen during the week. So if there are lectionary readings set, for example, for Good Friday, they will appear during the week that ends on that Sunday. So here, there are the readings for Easter Sunday, but then we have Holy Week service readings, and there's Good Friday readings. So they're all available in the week ending on the 12th of April, the Easter Sunday week. Right, let's go back to the front again. Resources library. What you see in this library will depend on what your administrator that's in your local church has set up for you. So we have a little songbook there of various songs and some basic liturgy that we've put in. It's quite useful to have on your phone. We have small group material. Each week your administrator can post material, and we post group questions relating to the lectionary readings for that week. So you can go back and see, this is from last Sunday, and there are some questions based on the lectionary readings from last Sunday. This is archived material, so on the front page, if there is a current set of questions, that'll appear as an icon for groups, but this is old material if you want to go back, and we have the same facility for children's devotions or family devotions. That is a link to the lectionary cartoon, which is, I think the site is called agnesday.com, agnesday.org, and there you'll see this relates to the previous Sunday. So these guys put out a cartoon every week that links to the lectionary reading. So that's just a resource for you to look at. These are some spiritual practices that we've worked through in our society, in our congregation. There's a copy of Wesley's Covenant Prayer. People may want to pray that regularly. There's some details on how to do the examen of consciousness and so on. And then the final item down here is a video library, and this is something we've added recently. And you can see this is free material related to Adam Hamilton's course, the walk, and just for this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, their publisher has made these videos available, and so these are just links so that you can link to the video and watch it if you're doing the coursework, which numbers of our groups are doing in the church at the moment. You can again add any video links to the app from the back end, and then members of the local church can look at those depending on which church they're linked to. Right, so those are all the resources. If we go back to the front again, the Bible reading plan, there's a selection of 3 plans that you can read at the moment. We've been working through some of the Gospels, and then this is the Bible in a year. If you click on that, day 1, this will take you through a full a year's worth of readings, get you through the entire Bible in that time, the New Testament and the Psalms twice, and then through the OT in 1 year. And the idea is that you would go and read the text, and then when you've finished and you've read all the text for that day, and you click that red button, then the following day it'll show you day 2, or the next time that you open it, it'll show you day 2. So it's just a very simple reading plan. You can go back and see the others there. Devotionals. There are various devotionals that might be linked to the system. The one that we use at Mhlali is Faith for Daily Living, produced by a Methodist minister in KwaZulu-Natal. And so this is something that a lot of our people read, and they also subscribe to the printed copy of this. So that's something that we have subscribed our congregation to. Calendar relates to events that have been posted into the congregational or the society calendar, so you can see I think we have some Holy Week services coming up. That's just in the next few weeks, and then different structures. If we have a circuit meeting happening, there's something coming up in the next little while, or a district or synod meeting, you can see the different calendars. So it allows for details to be entered for diaries for various structures within the church. And the last one here is the sermon. This will show the most recent sermon that we had, and it was preached on the 29th of March. There's a link to the audio, and then because we're under lockdown at the moment in South Africa, we've been filming services as well. We don't normally, but there is a copy of the service that was filmed from Sunday. So if there is a video link, it'll display there. If there isn't, it'll just show the audio. Some of the features which aren't on display here, there is the ability to pick up blog posts from your website that would appear as an extra blog, as a blog icon. If there were group questions set for this week, that would appear here as well. We're busy working on a messaging system within the app where if you receive a message from from the church relating to a duty that you have or a preaching appointment, that'll appear in a little inbox here. But that's the heart of the system. If you're anywhere in the app and you're busy looking at a reading or something like that, instead of going all the way back, you can also use this little menu which shows most of these details here. There is the directory that I mentioned, which will show names and faces. Normally you'll see those are congregation members with their faces, and then we have this option here, which is the opportunity for people who are able to sign up for a group. Those are home groups in the church. Those are service groups where people can sign up. You can actually do it um, through one of the groups. You can connect and add your name to a group. We're not going to do that now. Last thing through this menu is that because we in the Methodist Church have these structures of societies and circuits, the Lower Tugela circuit is a cluster of a number of societies. We have the circuit preaching plan linked to the app, so you can go in here and see who's due to be preaching this week, and you can see that a number of our societies are meeting together at one society. That's why there are all those blanks there. This is for Palm Sunday. Yeah, and then the last thing is let's have a look at subscriptions as well. You can subscribe to specific content, so all members at Mhlali are automatically subscribed to Faith for Daily Living, but there are other devotionals that you can look at. There are other sermon blogs, sermon feeds that will pick up sermons from other Methodist churches in the area, and we just have the one blog at this stage. But you can set up for your society which specific content automatically appears, and then which is also available as an optional extra for people to choose. So that's your subscriptions, the settings. You can choose which version of the Bible you want to use. We don't have a great deal because this is all that we have copyright permission to use, and specify which church you belong to. My details, that's the page that we looked at earlier with the household and the individuals. Let's quickly have a look at plan giving as well. By clicking on that tab, you will be taken to this page, and this is a system that we have to help people to give in a systematic and disciplined way, and to be accountable to them for the amounts that we receive, and to keep in touch with people with what they've given. Each member of the church is able to choose a plan giving number. Now this member, because he's brand new, obviously doesn't have a plan giving number yet, so he can go and click on that button and choose a number. And what we've done is it'll just pick, I think it's about 20 available numbers, and one of those can be chosen from within the app, and then you can pick a number, and that number then will be associated with your name. And the idea then is that if you make a payment to the church by EFT, you just use that number in the reference field, and then our bookkeeper will pick up any deposits that are made and will log those details into the back end of the app. And she doesn't know who the individuals are. All she sees is the plan giving number. Log the details, and then when you come back to the plan giving tab, when you click on it in future, it would show any payments that have been received, so you can keep track of it through the app. Plus the system generates an email every 3 months which is sent out to all members saying, "Dear plan giver number 50, thank you for your contributions, this is what we've received." And it's all done anonymously and automatically by the system, so it's a way of preserving anonymity while still being accountable for money that is received. It's also possible for family members to share a single number, so that's something that can be done. And then, or in some cases, family members want to have different numbers. It's really up to you. So that's the plan giving tab. If you click there, it explains how the system works, and there in future it would show amounts that you had received. Last thing that I want to do is just behind the scenes remove this user, so it's going to look a little strange for a moment. I'm going to basically log the user out, which is not something that you would normally do, but by clearing the cache, we come back to the site as if it were the first time, and the system doesn't know who we are. So imagine that you have already become a member of the church, your details are in the church, and you're now coming to install the app. So we're going to go through this process again, but and we're going to use the same phone number, which remember is now linked to that person that I added, that John Wesley character. So let's do this again. And this time, when I enter the 6-digit code that was SMS to me, the system should recognize that that number belongs to John Wesley, and so we should get a different kind of greeting. I beg your pardon, we still need to tell it which church we belong to, so that's a necessary step for everybody. And it's picked up this time that John Wesley is the person who's logged in from the Mhlali Society in the Lower Tugela circuit. And I think that's enough for now. That should get you going, and in a future video we'll explain some of the back-end stuff, how a church can set this up from the back end and add users and post content and all the rest of it. But that's enough for now.